All right, so without further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce to you somebody that you all are very familiar with, and that is our Executive Director, Jim Kirkland. Jim has been such a guiding force for all of us, continuing to bring forth new ideas and courses to better equip and to strengthen us and to strengthen our ministry. And so I just love his dedication, just truly appreciate him. He's very inspiring. And so we're just grateful for his leadership. And so I'm going to turn it over to Jim, who is going to lead us in our discussion for today. So, Jim, the floor is yours.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Gosh, I'm so excited to see all of you. Good turnout today. We're overwhelmed with everything going on at Christian Chaplains and Coaching. We really are, and we're excited about the course offerings and the opportunities that we're having. It's growing for fellowship and for learning with each other and helping each other to grow our chaplain ministry wherever it is that we live. And as you know, we here at Christian Chaplains and Coaching are just very interested in helping all of our chaplains wherever you are to build your community chaplaincy with whatever the specialty is, whether it's military or hospital, whether it's recovery or jail or prison or whatever it is. We're really here for you. And we're committed to developing the Chaplains Academy to create additional courses for continuing education. That's one of the ways that we want to pour into you and equip you for the work that we want you to be doing, we hope you're doing for Christ. And as Angela mentioned, we have two new offerings that are starting January 1st, the Biblical Victim Care and the CISM training, which is accredited by ICISF. It's accepted by the Billy Graham Rapid Response Team and Samaritan's Purse. It's actually a 3-day intensive, but you'll be able to do it online. We're really, really excited about our collaboration with Fuzzy Lake. Don't you love that name? The guy's name is Fuzzy Lake. That is, he's on the board, I believe. He's certainly one of the teachers at ICISF that's doing this for us, and he'll be also speaking at our conference next November. But you'll also find all kinds of free resources and a growing number of them. Like we have a dozen wonderful courses on the website from Kingswood University, for example, where you can take a course on how to study the Bible or about spiritual disciplines or an overview of the Old Testament or the New Testament or what does God say about work, things like these. And those are completely free continuing education options. So we really hope that you'll take advantage of those. But today, what we want to share with you is this course that we're really excited about. It's certification as a Christian life coach. And it's been in the making for several years. I've actually been doing life coaching for over 30 years, and there's still so much that I don't know about it. But what I have learned about it, you get to learn from what I've gleaned over the years from doing coaching and from studying coaching for a very, very long time. The new program is going to have 4 courses, each one done in a quarter, leading to certification as a CCLC or Certified Christian Life Coach. And it's designed for both professional life coaching, but it's also designed to help you in whatever your volunteer ministry is for mentoring people, helping people, discipling others. It's really designed for both the professional vocational coach as well as the lay coach that's just going to be helping others make progress in their life. And you'll learn from some great textbooks. Anne-Marie put them in the chat for you. So with the links to Amazon, if you'd like to go ahead and buy these books, they're really, really great books. The first one is called Christian Coaching, second edition by Dr. Gary Collins. That will be the primary textbook throughout the program. Also, you'll read Hearing Beyond the Words by Emma Justice. It's a small little book, but it's a powerful book about listening with the ears that Jesus has when he asks a question and then lets people talk it about even when they're being silly in their answers. You'll also learn from Strengths Finder 2.0 by Tom Rath and Lead Like Jesus Revisited by Ken Blanchard, which will be the primary book for the 4th and final course on leadership. You'll also learn how to use proprietary assessments that we have created. For example, I've been a DISC personality temperament assessment person for well over 30 years, and we actually created our own DISC assessment from a biblical perspective. So it's actually a DISC report, personality report, but it's for Christians. And so you'll learn how to use all of our assessments in your coaching practice or your mentoring or your discipling of others, your team building, your leadership. The DISC for Christians, which is an assessment that helps us understand why we act the way we do. And that's pretty important that we learn how to understand, well, why am I acting this way? What is fueling it? And what is unbiblical about it? What do I need to change in how I'm acting so I can move towards a more healthier biblical character traits? The second is the spiritual gifts assessment. Maybe some of you have even taken a spiritual gifts. We've created one. You'll also take a strengths finder assessment, and that helps us understand what? When you take spiritual gifts and strengths assessments, you're actually getting in touch with what God is preparing you to do. So the first one is learning how to understand why you act the way you do, and these new ones, these other ones, help you understand what God is equipping you to do. And then your core values for Christians, that's another assessment we've created. That'll help you understand why you do the things you do. And then finally, the leadership styles assessment. That is one that helps us understand our most and least preferred leadership styles and how we influence the people that we are leading. Are you primarily a commander or a pace setter? Are you a democratic leader or a coach? Are you a distributive leader or a laissez-faire leader? Which one do you gravitate to the most, and which one do you like the least? But the important thing is, since we understand that leadership is influence, that our job as a coach, as a mentor, as a disciple maker is to influence. We have to know how to influence people in a way that is right for them. After all, that's what servant leadership is all about. So my least preferred leadership style is democratic. But there are some people who, if I'm leading them, I may need to be a democratic leader for them because that's what they most need. Even though I might be most uncomfortable with it, I'm more comfortable as a coach in my leadership style. But some people need a commander, and we need to learn how to be a commander. That's not a bad thing to be a commander leader. It's only a bad thing if you're lording your position over others, right? So the leadership styles will help you understand how to lead more effectively in your coaching and mentoring practice, but also you'll learn how to help others learn how to lead with influence in a godly way as servant leaders. Now, you're also going to develop skills. Skills in creating an effective vision and mission statement for your own life, while also learning how to help others do the same. You'll learn how to write out your own 10-year letter describing the future you that you dream of. If I could be the person that I think God is calling me to be, if I could accomplish what I think God is calling me to accomplish, if I could be doing what I imagine I would love to be doing 10 years from now, what would that look like? How do I get there? And then how do you use SMART goals to achieve those future dreams, to actually make progress at getting there? After all, that's what we coaches do, is we help people do that. And the goals that we set each quarter have to be, the reason we call them SMART is it's an acronym for being specific and measurable, attainable, realistic, and time sensitive. They actually represent what you can accomplish, what you can realistically accomplish in the next 90 days. Because trust me, if you've got a big thing you want to accomplish in 10 years, you can't get it all done in the next 90 days. So you got to break it down into bite-sized pieces. What can I do in the next 90 days that if I do them, they will move me a little bit closer to the goal? And then I redo it again for the next 90 days. We'll teach you how to do that so you can make progress and show your clients or those that you're mentoring how to make progress too. Now, you'll learn about writing a business plan. We should all have a business plan, even if we're not in business. Business plan just simply identifies, well, what do we need? What resources do I need? What do I need to become? What education do I need to have? How am I going to structure what it is that I'm doing? Who's going to be on my team? That's all part of business planning, which you need to learn about. You'll also, if you're going to be coaching, you'll learn about having a client agreement. You got to have a client agreement that spells out what you're going to be doing, what the agreement is, how to use a client intake form, questions that you ask so you can get to know the client or the person that you're mentoring. And then also, you'll learn how to make sure that you end up working with qualified coaching candidates. People that are not coachable are not qualified. People that don't want to make progress are not qualified. People that are wallowing in the past and stuck in a hurt that they've never been able to get over and are unable to move forward in their life, they're not a coaching candidate, they're a counseling candidate. And you need to learn how to recognize the difference between them. You'll also learn about different kinds of coaching so that you can narrow down your specialty, whatever that specialty might be. And you got to ask yourself, am I going to earn income as a coach? Is this going to be vocational? Am I going to make a living at it or try to make extra income doing it? Or am I going to use the skills only primarily to mentor people and to disciple people? Because you will learn how to do that through this course. Will you work with married couples primarily or executives? How about coaching churches like admin teams, pastor, elder board, or with people that are in transition, life transition from one phase of life to another, where they lost one job, they're looking for another, moving to a different area of the country. These are all called transitions. Transitioning from being a young man to being an old man like me. I needed help with that. I went through a midlife crisis at one point. I didn't want to get old. I thought it would take longer to get 67. I'm going to be 67 years old next month. What happened? Happened too quick. So helping people through transitions is another possibility. Helping people in transition out of jail back to life. It's all up to you what your specialty is going to be, but we'll help you with understanding the different coaching specialties so you can identify what is going to be my primary focus. Now, know that coaching is not counseling. Where counseling primarily is helping people to overcome the obstacles that they face that were created by past circumstances that are impacting their present. Coaching, on the other hand, is making a realistic assessment of the present while helping our clients, our people that we're mentoring, helping them move forward toward a new future, a future they dream of. So coaching is always future focused. Many people have dreams, but they don't have a plan. And a dream without a plan is kind of like shooting an arrow without having a target to aim at. So when you aim at nothing, you're going to hit that every single time. The coach helps their clients or the people they're discipling to create a target based on their dreams, based on their understanding of what God is calling them to become, so that they too can reach that dream. They can make progress at actually reaching it. So coaching is always forward looking to the future while helping the client describe what their life would look like if they actually arrived at that future destination. And that's called vision. So coaches help and encourage people to achieve their goals. That's what a coach does. The coach primarily is a mentor in a co-equal relationship with the client. And so there has to be mutual respect. You've got to be able to respect the person that you're coaching, and the person that you're coaching has to be able to respect you and be trusting enough to have honest dialogue, because nobody can move toward a new future until they face the reality of their present and step out of denial, right? I'm not talking about the river. I'm talking about denial. The coach is not there to convince people of what they should do. A coach is not there to pressure anybody into doing what we, the coach, wants them to do or what we think that they should do. Instead, what we do is we help them clarify their own dreams, their own future. Then we work together with them to bring the changes that are necessary in their life and develop the habits that are necessary to learn what they need to learn to make progress at accomplishing those very things. The very best coaches are trained in the same skills that are required of a good chaplain. This is why we want to include this in our Chaplains Academy. Now, you can become a coach and not be one of our chaplains. You can become a chaplain and not become a coach, or you can do both. But this is great training for our chaplains. And what do the skills include of chaplaincy that's just like coaching? Well, one of them is the skill of listening to understand rather than to respond. In other words, quit thinking about what you want to say while the person is talking. Listen, understand, ask clarifying questions. That's a skill that chaplains need to have, that coaches also need to have. We also want to stop trying to fix people. Stop it. You can't fix them. Stop fixing them. Plus, God can only fix them anyway, so let God do the fixing. It isn't based at all. Coaching is not based at all on what we think is right. It is only what they want to do and what God says is right, right? So we're not going to be directing. We're not trying to tell them what to do, but rather we learn to ask seriously curious questions. That's another thing a chaplain and a coach must learn to do. The kind of questions that will draw the truth out of somebody, that will draw their feelings and their thoughts out of them. The dreams that they have can be drawn out and written down and clarified and understood so that a picture develops. So a coach must be an encourager, just like a chaplain has to be an encourager, who practices the ministry of a genuinely caring presence. That's what we do. So coaching, oh my gosh, over the last 30 or 40 years, coaching has become an industry. Many elite athletes and corporate executives now work with their own private coach to help them achieve their goals in life. And according to Dr. Collins, who wrote the primary textbook we'll be using, that Christian Coaching Second Edition, according to him, the core value of coaching comes down to this, and I quote, equipping people to move from where they are toward the greater competence and fulfillment that they desire. Let me say that again. The core value of coaching is to equip people to move forward from where they are toward the greater competence and fulfillment that they desire. Now, we believe that Christian coaching does exactly that, but it's filtered through a biblical lens that helps people focus on becoming or achieving what God created them for in the first place. That's the Christian coach. So how might the Christian become a better business person or a better employee? How might the Christian become a better student, father or mother, husband or wife, a friend, a better athlete, a better teacher, or a welder or a carpenter or a nurse or a chaplain or anything else? How does the Christian become better at anything? Well, the answer is with goals, with practice, with good habits. That is exactly where a coach comes in. So my question is, do you know the difference between life coaching and Christian life coaching? Well, I want you all to say this word, gospel. Because the difference between a regular life coach and a Christian life coach is the gospel of Jesus Christ. Any life coach, any good life coach, shares in common with the Christian life coach that we help the client become the person they want to be and achieve the goals they want to achieve. All coaches do that. A Christian life coach does that too. However, the Christian life coach also focuses on helping our clients to become the person that God created them to be. That, my friends, is what makes our coaching Christian. Unbiblical goals, listen to me, Unbiblical goals will lead a person away from God. And we who are Christian coaches should simply never, ever participate in helping somebody with any goal that we know is going to lead them away from God. We should just not even engage in a coaching relationship if that's what we end up doing. Certainly, non-Christians who hire us or who work with us can have godly goals. Even though they're not Christian, they can have godly goals without even realizing it. But we have to learn as Christians to align our life, including our goals, with Jesus. From a biblical perspective, there is serious overlap between the terms coaching, mentoring, and discipling. That's why we see coaching as a training ground for disciple making. The work implies a relationship that exists between people where one has more experience than the other. And for that reason, this course will help you as a vocational coach, but also as a Christian mentor and a disciple maker. The coach is presumed to be farther along on the journey of life. Don't you think? If we don't know how to do what we're teaching somebody to do, how can we teach them to do it if we haven't learned how to do it? If we're not putting changed life on display, how can we tell somebody else how to put changed life on display? If I've never had a successful business and know all the things that go into having a successful business, how can I help somebody else establish a business? If I've been divorced 17 times, how can I help somebody else with a good marriage? I mean, you can't teach what you don't know. And so we're presuming here that whatever coaching you're going to be doing, that you've made some progress in life along that journey so that you can help others make progress. And you don't have to be light years ahead of anybody either. You can just be a couple weeks ahead of somebody and be an effective coach. It's like that with discipleship. It's like that with Bible study. It's like that with life in general. But the Christian coach engages in the process with the goal of accomplishing the mission of making disciples. Do you all agree with that? If you're believers in Jesus Christ, then the mission that we have as Christians, as chaplains, as coaches, the mission is what Jesus says the mission is. And we never leave that mission. And he says the mission is to go, therefore, and make disciples. That's the mission. We make disciples. And that means the kind of disciple who learns to make disciples that make disciples, and also learns how to produce leaders, the kind of leaders that influence others, that produce more leaders. That's what we do as a Christian coach. But I want you to know this when we're talking about discipleship. Never, ever forget that you cannot disciple the unsaved. Stop trying to disciple the unsaved. Unless they believe, you can't disciple them. You can certainly help them. You can love them. You can encourage them. You can help them accomplish some good things in their life. You can help them develop good habits. You can help them set goals for themselves. You can do a lot to help them in life while putting his life on display. So when you're dealing with an unsaved client, and hopefully you will, you simply help them. Guide them toward the life that they want while putting your own changed life in Christ on display. And if they become attracted to Christ because they sense his presence in you, then great, fantastic, praise God. That is how the Christian coach evangelizes, but without ever pushing our faith on others unwanted. It's called proselytizing. We don't proselytize. We wait for it. Remember, our chaplains are asked to memorize 1 Peter 3:15. Honor in your hearts Christ the Lord is holy, always being prepared to make a defense, but please don't stop there. Always being prepared to make a defense to who? To anyone who asks you for the reason for the hope they see in you, yet do it with gentleness and respect. That's a coaching verse. That is a chaplain verse. We wait for it. We don't force our views. Political views, religious views, family views, lifestyle views, Christian beliefs, we don't push those things on people But if they ask us, we can walk through the door. Keep that in mind if you're going to be one of our chaplains or if you're going to become one of our coaches. So with a non-believing client, what do? We share hospitality. We help them all that we can while putting his sacred presence on display. And then we leave the rest up to God. Everybody say, amen. We leave the rest up to God. And we never, ever agree to help them accomplish a goal that would violate our faith or that in the long run would cause damage to them spiritually because it's actually leading them away from God. We do not do such things. So a Christian coach helps their client to accomplish their goals as aligned with Scripture as best we're able. And we help them make progress at living a successful life. But success gets to be defined by the client, not by the coach. So let me bring this to a close by sharing the layout of the 4 courses that we're going to be offering. The first course, they're all laid out over a 3-month quarter, 12 weeks each. And the first course is going to focus on the personality assessment as it's used in life coaching along with other things. So you'll learn how to use that DISC personality assessment. But we'll also cover topics like what is coaching? And we'll go into a lot more detail than we did today. And what makes a good coach? We'll cover that coaching is all about change and it's a lot about leadership. We'll cover the coaching relationship. We'll talk about listening, questioning, responding. We'll give you examples of different coaching models and issues that you're going to face as a coach. And then also how to create a picture and chart a course toward that picture that represents the vision of the future. And then you'll have a capstone project that'll be explained in the course. The second course is going to focus on spiritual gifts and natural strengths and how you use those assessments in coaching for yourself first. In fact, what we say is the first person that you most need to coach well is yourself. So the whole coaching course is you're going to be applying all this stuff and all the things that you're learning to yourself first so that you'll learn how to use them. And then you can practice on willing guinea pigs that will come to you. And that's part of your capstone project is to get somebody that would say, hey, yeah, I'll do this assessment with you. And let's work on it together. That way you'll learn, they'll learn, and you'll figure out how to coach somebody. So the second course is going to cover personal reflection and your coaching practice, how to get in touch with the present, and how to get in touch with the person that you're talking with. You'll learn about clarifying the vision, which is future-oriented, clarifying the mission, which is all about establishing all the things you need to do to get there. You'll learn about coaching for action using those SMART goals that we talked about. Remember, that means specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time-sensitive goals. And you'll learn how to coach people through the inevitable obstacles that come. Life throws us curveballs. Tornadoes come. Hurricanes come. Loss of life comes. That's why our conference next year is going to be all about peace in the storm. Then you'll also do the capstone project for this course. Course number 3 is going to focus on those core values, which helps you understand why you do the things that you do. How do you use the core values assessment? You'll learn about team building with the core values assessment because that helps you understand what you do, but it also helps you and the people you're with that are going to be doing work together understand, well, what might we do together that we're united on that is coming from the core values that we all share? Because trust me, if you try to build a team with people who don't share the core values together, they will never agree ever on what you would like to do. And you end up with a dysfunctional small group that never does anything. All they do is talk about things, but they never accomplish anything because they don't actually want to do it. So use your core values in your team building and in your own goal planning. And then you'll learn about coaching people through those inevitable transitions in life. We'll talk about several different types of transitions and how to coach people through them. You'll learn about specific coaching things like marriage coaching, career coaching, executive and business coaching, coaching churches, and spirituality coaching. Those are all specialties. And the profession of business coaching. And then that will close with a capstone project. The fourth and final course, and if you complete all four of them, you'll get the Certified Christian Life Coach or the CCLC designation. We'll cover the leadership styles assessment. You'll learn all about leadership. What is a servant leader? What is it? What does it look like to be a Christian servant leader? Understanding what the leadership styles are and how you need to learn to move effectively from one style to another so that you can serve the people that you are leading in a way that is most appropriate for them, even when that style of leadership is uncomfortable for you. Because after all, we're here to serve them, not make ourselves comfortable. You'll learn about discipleship and influence, which defines Christian leadership. You'll learn about crossing cultures, being culturally sensitive, because that is required for effective coaching. Not everybody comes with the same perspective and experience and culture and life and way of living and way of thinking that you do. So we need to learn how to live in a way that is respectful of them and still loving of them. You'll learn about the challenges of coaching from a Christian perspective and the future, what the future of Christian coaching looks like as you're planning your own coaching and mentoring future. Then you'll have a capstone project. So that concludes my presentation. Well, I hope you're all going to consider enrolling in this great program. We're really excited about it. The cost is $400 per course. That is less than half of typical Christian or certified life coach programs. You'll find some of them out there that are $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 to get certified as a life coach. This is $400 per course. There's 4 courses. So once you've taken all 4 of them, you can get certified with us. Each course is offered quarterly, and you can enroll right on our website. All I ask you to do is just navigate your way to course offerings in the Chaplains Academy and then sign up for it. And we would really also appreciate your recommending it, sharing it with others as well. So now let's just turn it back over to Angela and we'll open and Anne Marie, and we'll open it up for questions and answers.